Good morning, early game crew. Happy Thursday. It's the day after National Signing Day, which is really, to me, a bigger deal, right? Because in the morning, maybe the faxes don't come in, and we're talking about the commitments, but really the drama is who signs and who doesn't sign. Nowadays, they just use the DocuSign. They don't use fax machines anymore, which, boo!
Lame.
So lame. We're not lame. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. And we are talking about signing day yesterday because now we've got the DocuSign for the NLI, not the NIL.
Tough one.
Distinction to be made there. Two completely different things.
However, the NIL may influence the NLI.
NLI. And is that the case for the most notable holdout so far for South Carolina? Because out of all the commits that as of right now are currently signed, I believe we are still waiting word on Landon Duckworth, the quarterback from Jackson, Alabama, who has been committed since July. And the word is...
Important to note that
yes.
he recommitted in July.
He recommitted, yes.
Because he was committed previously, he decommitted, and now he's recommitted in July.
It's a lot of committing.
Yes, and now he has not actually signed.
Yeah, so he has not actually signed, and there are rumors that he may flip to LSU.
Ooh.
That is the number one flip candidate is LSU.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin and LSU.
What's curious to me is obviously are there NIL implications there, which, hey, make your choice, do what you got to do. But what I wonder is during the recruitment, if this is a thing that's happening, and I don't want to spend too much time on something that hasn't happened yet, but if this is a thing that is happening, when was the recruitment? When did the recruitment happen?
Bingo. Right?
When did the recruitment happen? When were these conversations had? Was Landon just like, yeah, Oxford is not for me, but I can go to Baton Rouge.
But Baton Rouge is for me.
Right? Maybe there was that. Maybe there was something there. Because Lane is still Lane. It's the same dude, same system. So why wasn't he as happy there? Maybe there was a higher price tag. I don't know. But one thing Landon can't say is he can't say the facts didn't come through yet. Right?
He can't claim that, I signed, just wait for the paper.
Yeah, we can't claim that. So there's obviously something happening. We've seen this. I remember you referenced it yesterday when Billy Napier was sweating bullets.
Woo! For DJ Lagway, that was, I remember going on air at 3 o'clock. So I was solo hosting that day, and I was, for like the 2 or 3 hours before that, constantly refreshing to see if DJ Lagway flipped somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were at Gamecock Central, not Gamecock Central, at Gamecock headquarters. They were refreshing, resending, question mark,
texting,
sending their favorite texting emoji like, where are you? Hey.
Where are you, Landon?
I'm sure this was a lot happening. And I want, and again, because this is all something that is relatively quickly happening. So it's also important to note that this is the first day of signing. Typically, everybody signs on the first day, but it's not the only day of signing.
So it's kind of like Christmas, right? Everybody opens their gifts on Christmas, but sometimes if you're going to the grandparents' house and you do that the day after Christmas,
good call.
You're opening some gifts after Christmas or you're celebrating it maybe. It's like Christmas if there was a hard starting day, right? Because some people celebrate Christmas with their families on Christmas Eve. But on National Signing Day, you cannot celebrate signing day before signing day. But after signing day, you can.
There you go. So maybe, who knows? I'm sure there's some intense conversations happening in a lot of places right now.
Very, because that was kind of tabbed as the quarterback successor in the future, right? Whether he'd be playing as a true freshman or a redshirt freshman, who knows? But a guy of that ilk, or at least of that talent, right? You look at 24/7, that was a 4-star, the number 10 quarterback in the country. Those are the type of guys that you recruit to ultimately become your starter down the road, right? But It might change what you have to do in the offseason, right, in terms of player acquisition in the transfer portal. And in the next segment, we'll go to an idea that Preston and I have that we have become pretty enamored with. And you know what? I think that's a pretty good Landon Duckworth not signing backup plan.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can definitely look at. But when you look at the situation with Landon Duckworth, let's lay it out. 4-8.
Uh-huh.
No OC. No offensive identity.
Nope.
That's a tough sell. Obviously, it's still buying Shane and culture. But that's a very abstract idea right now.
Especially if there's a chance that Shane doesn't make it through the 2026 season.
So there's a lot of reasons, even if we was to say, which I don't think you ever should in this current world, money is part of the equation, and it should be.
It should be. I mean, it is your life.
It is your life. You can make whatever decision. But if you was to say all things being equal, let's say whatever we were offering was the same as what another place was offering, there's still a lot of factors that are very unstable in this situation. And it'd be very interesting to walk willingly into a situation where there are not a lot of the key guarantees that you need as far as making your future, making yourself successful in the future.
Yeah, like think about it. Job security for the coach. Well, one's a new hire, so automatically, yeah, there's a completely reset clock there. Offensive pedigree. I think Lane's got the advantage there. Quarterback development. I think Lane has an advantage there. Program winning and prestige. I think LSU has an advantage there. In terms of resources and funds, I don't know the specifics of what South Carolina's got to work with right now, but it is publicly known that LSU, as part of the contract that Lane Kiffin signed, is getting $25 million additional to work with the roster.
Above rev share.
Above rev share, right? That's a lot of money. They could probably overspend.
We just need a cap. We just need this. We want a cap and some rules so we can figure out what we're doing.
Fake pouty time. Are there better fake powders in the world?
You cannot tell people how to spend the money that they want to spend.
No.
That's not. I mean, that's not even American, man. I want to spend my money.
Yeah,
tell me how to spend my money.
What did J.G. Wentworth teach us? It's your money. Use it when you need it.
I'm saying. So you laid out a lot of issues where, if we were being objective about this, you would have to say, I don't like it, but
I don't feel good about it because of those reasons. But who knows? Maybe he's like, you know what? You guys were heavily recruiting me from the start. I do like Columbia, South Carolina. Sandstorm is an awesome song.
It's true.
It's a banger. It's a bop. I do love Sir Big Spur. Good guy.
I mean, I know what we're doing here. We're going down the tail of the tape, but Sir Big Spur is awesome.
He is.
Mike the Tiger.
Mike the Tiger could eat you, though. If you tick off Sir Big Spur, I think you're pretty safe from bodily harm.
Uh-huh.
There's a big worst-case scenario with Mike. Now, Mike, from what I've been told, it's been made very abundantly clear to me that Mike is a sweetie. Not doubting it. However, there is, if you're talking about tail of the tape and live mascots.
I mean, he's still a tiger.
One can rock you if you wanted to. Yeah. At the end of the day, he is still a live tiger.
So it's difficult to answer any of the questions surrounding the class because there was a highly recruited class, a small class.
It is one of the smaller classes. That's why maybe the ranking isn't as high. Yeah. Shane even mentioned that after the Clemson game in the press conference that, National Signing Day is coming up. We love our class. It's not going to be ranked as high because we don't have as many signees. Like, for example, if you look at the number one recruiting class in the country, according to Rivals on 3, 24/7, all of them, it is Southern Cal, but Southern Cal only has 1 5-star. They do have 35 total commits, though, and that kind of boosts averages, right? It's going to make it look a little bit higher.
Also, goes back to the conversation we were having yesterday where the big boys are still focusing on high school recruiting.
Uh-huh.
Right? You still have your USCs, your Ohio States, your big dogs still are going to go into high school and get the best players they can out of high school. Yes, they supplement with the portal, but high school recruiting is still the lifeblood of the top-tier programs.
Now, a couple of interesting notes here in terms of National Signing Day stuff. Southern Cal being number one would be, from what I've been told, the first time since about 2007, maybe 2008, that an SEC team is not the number one recruiting class in the country.
Okay.
They're not even in the top three, the SEC is, because Notre Dame, this is rivals and on three. Southern Cal 1, Notre Dame 2, Oregon 3. Then you get to Georgia. Then you get to Ohio State, and then you get to Alabama. So only 2 of the top 6 are in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means. If there's because I don't think the SEC is deprioritizing high school recruiting. Because then you look at the rest of the top 10 too. I mean, Tennessee 7, Miami at 8, A&M 9, LSU 10, then Texas at 11, and then you get into the teens too. That's when you have Florida, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and so on and so forth.
I think what's really interesting about that is he said LSU was 10, right?
Uh-huh.
They lost their head coach.
Talk about a place that just recruits itself. Yeah.
So
coach-proof.
We obviously
recruiting.
know they were not committing to Brian Kelly. They were committing to LSU, whereas the difference in our situation is people are committing to Shane Beamer.
Yes.
Not South Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm wearing a South Carolina hat now. You know what time it is, but it's just the facts. So even when they have a coaching change, a firing, a governor, all kinds of wild stuff happening, they still were having that level of recruiting just because of who they are, where they are, and what they are.
Yeah. And the hotbed of talent that Louisiana is, right? And a lot of those kids want to stay home. They grow up wanting to play.
And there's only one show in town.
LSU. And it's them, right? I don't think LSU's having to have local recruiting battles with Louisiana Tech.
Right. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of schools there. I mean, Southern, Grambling, Lafayette. I mean, there's a lot of spots.
Southeast Louisiana, Nicholls State.
I mean, there's a lot, but
Louisiana Monroe.
All roads leads to Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Ultimately, that's where everything goes in that state. Tulane's not beating them for any recruits. But in terms of like just programs that recruit itself, that when they're hiring a coach, I don't think you have to really worry about how good of a recruiter are they. Always going to recruit itself. They have the money. They have the facilities. They have the history. They'll play like the helmet. It's one of those places that I consider like the helmet recruiting itself, and we've seen that pretty abundantly. Like here with them, not having a coach for a month, and then getting Lane Kiffin probably doesn't hurt, but definitely one of those places. But for South Carolina to be a top 20 now on 24/7, they're technically at 21, but on Rivals being a top 20 class, you'll take it. I mean, especially with some of the high-end talent you got, because while we talk about Landon Duckworth not signing, there's a pretty big name that did, and that would be Darius Gray, who, according to 24/7, is the number 14 player in the country. He is the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the country. 6'3", 285, not a biggin yet, but he can be. But I think getting a blue-chip offensive line recruit to sign, best outcome possible.
To be number 14 in the country as an interior offensive lineman is wild.
You have to pass the alien test to do that.
For sure. I mean, there are people who think highly of you somewhere. A lot of people, consensus, think very highly of you because usually if there was going to be a lineman, it would definitely be a tackle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
but
value of tackles.
It's already known that you're an interior offensive lineman, and obviously we need that. It's obviously a huge source of need for us. So that's a huge recruitment, huge get, and it was able to hold on to the recruitment because, again, we lost the coach at that position and still were able to hold on to the recruit. So that is a big victory in recruiting for the staff.
So while we sit and anxiously wait for Landon Duckworth to send that fax in, and by that I mean sign the DocuSign, you can take a victory lap that almost everybody else has been signed, including Darius Gray, including who I believe to be the best high school football player in the state, Jazavian Currents from South Point. A great in-state recruiting, but I alluded to it earlier. There's a backup plan just in case Duckworth does not end up signing with South Carolina. Preston and I have an idea, and we'll tell you what that plan B is next here on the early game.
No accidents to report this morning at this point. Great news there. Increasing clouds today, a high of 55. Then the next system of rain will be moving in, sometimes heavy tomorrow. A high of only 46, and the rain might continue. A few rounds of rain on Saturday, a high of 50. Some showers on Sunday, also about 51. There is a little patchy dense fog out there, so be mindful of that this morning, and could be a little bit of frost on your windshield as well. Right now, 33 on the early game.
So let's just live in a world here where Landon Duckworth decides to go to LSU. And when it comes to Lenora Sellers' decision, capital D decision, he's not going to be sitting down at the local Boys and Girls Club and doing a live interview with ESPN where he says he'll take his talents. Don't foresee that. But let's just say he decides to go to the NFL draft, meaning you're going to have a vacancy at quarterback. You'll bring back maybe the guys that are on the roster. Maybe Aaron Oland. Maybe. Cutter Woods. I think probable, given the local ties. But that would be your quarterback room. Jimmy Francis. You still probably want somebody who is a little more ready to start on day one of the season. But you still have an offensive coordinator search. But Preston Thorne, what's the one trend that we've seen a lot lately in terms of offensive coordinator hires?
As Dion would say, they bring their luggage with them, and it's Louis.
Yes. Package, or in this case, baggage deals.
It's been
luggage deals.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Well, I mean, even saying, as Dion would say, you saw what happened with Dion. He brought his quarterback with him, and they eventually had a high level of success. They won 9 games last year. That's crazy.
That's good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's really good.
Sign me up for it. Yeah, so this is the thing you've seen where the coach/coordinator brings their quarterback with them, and there is a level of success.
Mm-hmm.
That being said,
when you're looking at offensive coordinator hires, there's one who has an impressive resume already, but one who's got a dual threat quarterback that is awfully enticing. Because if you have not watched Old Dominion football this year, I don't blame you. Watching a lot of Sun Belt football in general is for the sickos, and I respect anyone that does, and I do enjoy the Sun Belt. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see what happens in their title game this weekend. But Kevin Decker, the offensive coordinator at Old Dominion, outside of putting up 49.5 points a game when he was at Fordham in 2022.
Football powerhouse Fordham.
Known football powerhouse Fordham. And having the second highest total yards per game in the history of the FCS, because his last year at Fordham, they put up 609 yards per game of total offense. Kevin took his talents to Old Dominion, and he turned Colton Joseph, quarterback for Old Dominion, who is, again, expected to be entering the transfer portal and expected to have a lot of suitors.
And 2 years of eligibility left.
In 2 full years. He was a true freshman in 2024 when he started or appeared in 9 games. He appeared in all 12 this year, threw for over 2,600 yards with 21 touchdowns, did have 10 picks, but he did lead the country in yards per completion at 15. High level of explosion there. But what's real fun is the running, because he ran for over 1,000 yards this year.
Come on, man.
He scored 13 touchdowns on the ground.
Come on, man.
He was running for 84 yards per game. Over 6 yards a carry at the quarterback position. And, you know, I want to throw a comparison out there. You know what, watching those highlights, because Preston found a couple of, like, the really nerdy cut-ups of Old Dominion's offense. But you know what that offense and Colton Joseph reminded me of? Watching Haynes King and Georgia Tech.
Sold. You don't have to say a lot to me. You know where my eyes been on every Team Crush Tuesday. I love it.
Very well documented around here. Our thoughts on Georgia Tech's offense this year.
Yeah, man. There's the internet takes you in some interesting places, and I just landed on some of the stuff that they were breaking down and analyzing the ODU run game, just from the creativity aspect of it, things that they do as far as blocking schemes, as far as alignment, as far as splits. They're really innovative in their run approach, which helps their quarterback, who's sneaky athletic, be able to really, really get in that run game and really perform at a high level. It's a innovative style of offense, not gimmicky. And there's a slight difference between that. Innovation is one thing. It's not based on gimmicks, whereas maybe some cool offenses are. It's just innovative and forward and fresh in its approach.
A lot of pin and pulls, which is one of my favorite things to watch at an offensive line. I love watching a guard get out in space and then pancake someone on the move.
Well, the reason that works really well, especially if you have an offensive line that's struggling to just stand there and roll grade somebody, is because now maybe they can get out in space, have that space, put you in a situation where you take advantage of your speed, your size and speed, and you can maybe block somebody in the edge where you maybe not necessarily as strong at the point of attack.
You're a defensive lineman, so you're in the trenches. Would you rather run up against an offensive lineman who's stationary, or one that's got some momentum and the power of physics behind them?
Yeah, you don't want to play inside. Not to demoan the inside zone, but we all hate it, right? Okay, cool. Inside zone is very easy to recognize as a defensive lineman because it's essentially the linemen are either going left or right. You're either playing a reach block or a down block. Is very, very simple. Now, when you're playing one of these types of offenses, which is just more your blocking, more your man blocking schemes, more your triple option type schemes where you don't know where the block is coming from. Are they pulling? Is it a double down? What do I need? You just get in your mind a little bit more as far as what am I actually playing. And so I think those types of offenses can help maybe mitigate talent strength deficiencies for those old linemen. It just kind of like the option style offenses.
Right, where you might not, like you look at Vanderbilt, for instance, right? It's not like their skill position players were all 5 stars coming out of high school or blue chip athletes. They had good ones, but they're not maybe at the level as a lot of their conference peers are. But you know what that offense was? Pretty dang hard to defend against, right? Because you're constantly being put in conflict. An offense like this, you're constantly either being put in conflict or, you don't, like you said, you don't know where the block's coming from, right? Because it is so innovative. It is so different. It is, there's a lot of movement on that offensive line.
Everybody's moving.
I have a theory that, if I'm a defensive player, I would rather try to get you at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage than have to run to the outside and have a guard running in my direction, right? Because he's got a full head of steam and he can put me on my tail a lot easier than if we're just, in stance and running up against you.
Yeah, and also it's just more of a mental stress, like where is this block's coming from? What block am I playing? What is my assignment? What are they doing? It's a lot more stress than just lining up and saying, all right, I'm just going to be stronger than this person and beat them at the point of attack. Some teams can do that when you have those types of dudes, but we haven't proven to have those types of dudes in our coaching to do that, so we have to do something different. This is very intriguing because everybody's been calling for everybody on the internet, which qualifies for everybody. Let's go get the guy from Vanderbilt. Let's open up the checkbook and let's go get him, or let's go get this other guy. Well, this is our type of situation here. Innovative coordinator, possibly bringing a quarterback. That is a dream scenario for an offense that was stagnant last year.
So if we do end up getting that scenario where Landon Duckworth ends up committing or signing to LSU, if Lenora Sellers ends up going to the NFL draft, I think if this is your plan B, I think it's a pretty solid plan B. So, which is why, if that is possible, which I think is possible that happens, I wouldn't be upset at all if that ends up being the case for this team. And I think that would be pretty positive moving forward if those other things were to happen. We'll also continue our South Carolina post-mortem look at the 2025 season. Yesterday, we looked at Lenora Sellers and his regression at the position and why he struggled some. Well, a lot of those struggles came by way of the offensive line. We'll take a close look at the big men in the trenches coming up next here in the early game.
Hey, this is Jen for Carolina Stone Craftsman just outside Columbia in Chapin. Understanding kitchen and bathroom projects can be a significant investment. Rebecca and Ethan, they work hard to deliver the highest quality, most affordable granite, marble, and quartz while still providing the best customer service. It's simple. Great countertops and no compromises. We were thrilled with the results we had with them, both in replacing some countertops for some cabinets that we had also replaced in a couple of bathrooms. And the experience was great the first time. Use them yet again for the next time. We weren't exactly sure what we were looking to put in there, but they helped guide us, and we found just the perfect stone for both of those bathrooms. If you're in the market for countertops for your kitchen or bath, reach out to Carolina Stone Craftsman. Tell them Jen sent you. They're family-owned and operated just beyond Columbia in Chapin, and I assure you, beyond your expectations. Visit them online, carolinastonecraftsman.com. Things moving along fairly well this morning. Now, there is a little bit of patchy dense fog in a few places, especially like in West Columbia by the river and getting into the Vista and some other areas in town. So just be a little mindful of that. But no accidents to report right now. 55 will be our high. Clouds will be on the increase. And then we get the rain coming in for tomorrow. The rain will be starting sometime in the morning in the overnight hours. And a lot of rain tomorrow. Some showers on Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow's high, 46, 50 on Saturday, 33 right now.
Taking a look at what went wrong for South Carolina in 2025. And today we're focusing on the offensive line, which is perfect that David has called into the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, 803-404-6100, because that's what he wants to talk about, is this offensive line. Good morning, David. Welcome to the early game.
Morning, guys. Not really wanting to talk about the offensive line. What I was wanting to touch base on is, the old saying that somebody shows you who they are, you should believe them. Well, Shula showed us that in the bowl game, and so many of us said that fellas wasn't the same, and Shane come on throwing out some numbers saying that we were imagining stuff that it wasn't no different. But what I'm worried about is we've got 8 months until August, and everybody's talking about North's regressed, but there's no telling how much damage has been done to Cutter and Nolan, and the quarterback room with not even having an OC in place, there's no telling how far that's set back the quarterback room. Because from what I understand, even the assistant quarterback coach never played the position in college. He was a wide receiver at Portland State. And while I understand everybody's got to start somewhere, I don't think any other SEC school would have somebody in that position. But I appreciate what y'all do, and have a good morning.
Yeah, appreciate it, David. Yeah,
David, you landed on one of my favorite topics because, yes, the assistant quarterback coach was a wide receiver, which that happens sometimes in coaching, but he was a wide receiver in 2022 at Portland State.
Not in 2012.
Let me say that again. 2022. What does that mean? He's extremely young. Again, everybody has to start at some time, but to put somebody that young and inexperienced in that type of position with this precious cargo that we had is malpractice. And I agree with David. On top of that, his last name is Cutter. How do you know that name? Because his father, Dirk Cutter, was a coach. So not only is he inexperienced, not only did he not coach or play quarterback, but he is also the beneficiary of nepotism. Mm-hmm. I appreciate this call, David. I've been wanting to get this off my chest for a minute.
Davis's previous two gigs, or his previous gig, the last 2 seasons, was on Steve Sarkisian's staff at Texas.
You don't say.
As a graduate assistant working with the quarterbacks, and then elevated to an analyst role who worked predominantly with tight ends. Now, an assistant quarterbacks coach, and with Mike Shula getting fired for the last 3 weeks of the season, he has been the quarterbacks coach. It's a pretty high elevation.
Yeah, and there's a role. We've created these humongous staffs with all of these people with the analyst position for folks like this who are growing in their personal development, growing in the coaching profession, learning all the tricks of the trade. Ideally, there is a spot for that. That does not seem like an ideal situation for somebody who is inexperienced, young, and also has not worked with these types of athletes to be in that spot. So yes, David, you're not wrong in saying and or thinking that.
Just funny thought here before we get to the offensive line. The analyst room in an SEC school has got to be one of the funniest combinations of coaches on the planet, because you have those young guys, right, who are working their way into being coaches once they get older. So maybe like in your early 20s, mid 20s. And it's also mixed with guys who are coming in to be analysts who have been head coaches somewhere else, right? Like, who is it that was Jeff Collins, right? Now an analyst, that's South Carolina defensive analyst. You have a room that's got those guys and
Greg Atkins and Davis Cutter.
Same role as analysts. The analyst room at certain schools, like Will Muschamp at Georgia, right? There were some defensive analyst grad assistants that were working with Will Muschamp. And who knows what they end up becoming. If they end up becoming really good coaches one day, we can say that, the next legendary head coach at insert school here got his first gig in the analyst room with Will Muschamp.
Yeah, and again, the analyst role is designed for coaches who are growing in the profession. And I would argue, even if you were going in most places around this state, if you were going to coach varsity football, that's the reason why they have JV football. You'd be on the JV staff learning how to coach. You don't just get to jump off to the big boy varsity level, and that's on the high school level. So this is the SEC. So I agree with David. I think that's a oversight in how you are creating a staff.
Now, when we get to the offensive line, looking at the South Carolina season through a past perspective lens here, the offensive line clearly, I think, is one of the things that really held you back. I think cost you the LSU game because of pre-snap penalties and inability to protect the pocket. And that was the game, if we want to talk about Lenore's run for your life game, that was probably the number one game that comes to my mind. And that's the reason why Lonnie Teasley was let go whenever they landed back in Columbia. When you look at the offensive line from this year, given the amount of high school developed talent that you have on the line, and 3 guys that you brought in on the interior of the offensive line that are supposed to be contributors day one because they were experienced portal players, where do you think that went wrong?
This is a difficult. I mean, obviously Lonnie's not here, so there's a coaching deficiency there.
Yes,
but we all saw that. We've seen that over time. That's really difficult to answer because I feel like because we don't get to see those guys a lot, we haven't seen it go right. We've just seen those guys come in, and I would maybe argue that the evaluation process might need to be looked at a little bit more because, yeah, they might be a 4-star guy on the evaluation process, but are they a 4-star for this system, or what makes them a 4-star, or do they have that dog in them? They might have the measurables,
but do they have that in here, the non-measurable stuff?
We haven't seen a lot of it. That's just what it is. Now, can that be coached in them? I don't know.
And that's the tricky thing, too, especially when you're evaluating places at lower levels, right? Because there is a big physicality difference and a size difference, right? Like the guys that Boaz Stanley was blocking against in the Sun Belt are nowhere near as big, fast, and strong as they're going to be every week in the SEC. The guys that Rodney Newsom was blocking when he was at Western Kentucky in Conference USA, on the other end of the line of scrimmage, guys that are nowhere near as big and fast and strong as they're going to be in the SEC. And Nick Sharp had Power 4 experience at Wake Forest, but there is a jump that has to be made there, and sometimes that might be where the rub is when it comes to evaluating offensive line. My whole thing is it's probably the hardest position to evaluate in terms of you can watch somebody, but they're moving bodies at that level. Can they do it at the SEC level, right? Do they have the strength and the dog in them to do that at the SEC level? It worked for Torricelli Simpkins, who was doing it at North Carolina Central, right, at the FCS level, but it doesn't translate for everybody. And I think that evaluation miss kind of was the first domino, followed by some developmental misses. Not saying that guys like Josiah Thompson don't have the talent to do it. I think he does. There's a reason he was that highly coveted coming out of high school. But there's a development thing that was missing with a lot of those guys that you already had on the roster. Coming up next, we'll hear from Ray, and Preston and I are going to tell you about something we're doing on December 9th. That's super fun, and you're not going to want to miss it. We'll tell you what that is next. Before we get to the cool thing Preston and I are doing on Tuesday, that will be featuring a former Gamecock and a former Gamecock fan favorite. We're going to get to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Our pal Ray is on the line, wanting to chat with us this morning. Ray, good morning. Welcome to the early game.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I was, of course, like most of us Gamecocks, I was listening to Coach Beamer yesterday, and he said something that really kind of really intrigued me, and I wanted to run it by you guys and see how you took it and what you think he should do. With his OC, I think he needs to get out there. I mean, this kind of, I know you say no kidding, Captain Obvious, whatever. He needs to get the best OC out there. But he made the comment that he's like waiting for Sellers and Harbor and them to decide before, an OC's going to want to come here or whatever. I don't agree with that. I think you just got to go out there and get the best OC. And what's the old saying? You plan for the worst, hope for the best. I mean, he needs to go out there and hire this OC as if Sellers might not be coming back. He just needs to get the best that he can get and move on. I think the longer he waits, the further down the line we're going to get. But I don't think he should just base it on whether Sellers is coming back or not, because he might not have that decision for a week or two or maybe longer than that. But I don't know if you guys heard that part of it, and I just want to see what your take is on that as well.
Yeah, appreciate that, Ray. And my thing is, if you're an offensive coordinator, sometimes the best guy that you can get might only be coming here if he gets to work with LaNorris Sellers or bring their own luggage.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the conversation that during the interviews, the first conversation, if I was the OC, is like, what's up with 16?
Yeah.
16 here or nah? Because then that might change my decision. But to your bigger point, Ray, and I've thought this, even when they were talking about Mike Shula during the process, there seemed to be a over-reliance, in my opinion, on what LaNorris thought. And maybe this is old school, but like, who cares what the kids think? You know what I'm saying?
He's young.
Like I'm going to take the kids into consideration when I make a decision, but you're not running things around here. Like, I'm going to make the best choice.
Yeah.
And either you're going, I hope you like this, and I hope it works for you, but you're not making this decision. And I felt like even throughout the process with Mike Shula, he's like, yeah, I talked to LaNorris, and he said he was on board. It's like, look, LaNorris doesn't know any better. He doesn't know what offensive coordinators out there because he's only played for his high school one and this one. So he's like seeing Mike. He's like, yeah, that's cool.
I'm on board. Yeah,
that works for me. All
he's
right.
being a team player, right?
Yeah, and then even to back that up even further, LaNorris goes. You heard LaNorris say like, Mike Furry, cool. Yeah. This is all right. And that's because he's a young person.
He goes with the flow. He's very relaxed.
And he's and his personality trait. But so yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, man, who cares what these kids think? Make a decision, dog.
You're the adults in the room.
You don't get a say. You get a consideration, but you don't make this decision.
You're not making the final choice. Yeah.
So Ray, I agree with you. I say all that to say I agree.
And to take Ray's point of, prepare for the worst, pray for the best. That's why I love the backup idea of Kevin Decker at Old Dominion as your OC and bringing in Colton Joseph, because there is definitely some proof of concept there. I mean, yeah, I would like a quarterback who can throw for 2,600 yards and run for 1,000 in an offense designed to do that, right? And it's an offense that's designed to work anywhere because it worked at Fordham to the tune of 600-plus yards a game, 49.5 points per game. I like those numbers. I like when offense go burr and score a lot of points. That's what I prefer, right? But before we get out of here in this break, or in this hour, December 9th, from 4 to 6, over at Guthrie's, Golden Fried Chicken Fingers. I wanted to plant this seed early because I'm really excited about it. And it's such an exciting event. Xavier Legette posted about it because Xavier Legette's going to be there. He'll be doing photos only, no autographs, for the Xavier Legette meet and greet. But you know what? I don't think that's the headliner, Preston Thorne. I think the headliner is me and you being in a chicken eating competition.
This is wild. Okay.
Tail of the tape. No one's going to pick me to win this. And I already accept that. I will wear that underdog role as a badge of honor.
Hedge your bets. Hedge your bets.
Oh, I'm so ready. I am so ready. I know.
I've seen this man perform.
Preston has seen me throw down some food.
And which location is it?
So this is going to be at Guthrie's. The address of this is 339 Generations Way in Columbia, South Carolina.
I believe that's going to be on the northeast side of town.
Okay.
I believe that's what's out there on the northeast. It's going to be a new store that's opening out there.
And I want to get Xavier Legette on the record, who he's picking winning this competition.
And he's and they're throwing a hat in a very crowded marketplace. So shout out to them. But I've never had it before, so I'm interested to see.
It's good. They have one in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm officially have sampled. Pretty tasty.
Okay.
Oh, good, because I want to eat a lot of
You're
it.
going to eat a lot of them. You'll
Yeah.
enjoy them.
In the sake of competition, but also I want to make sure I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah.
So
We'll have you do a workout earlier in the day.
some people do like actually train for food eating competitions,
Yeah.
which I don't know what even remotely goes into that. All I
Nothing you
know is
wanna
if
know.
I'm hungry, I'm an animal.
Oh, gosh. So
I am an
dropping
animal.
those back.
Yes, that's my plan. Come hungry, leave happy. You've heard that one before.
That's going to be fun.
4 to 6 at Guthrie's. Stop by, hang out with Xavier Leggett, hang out with us in hour number 2, because that's next.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. I've told you about what we had to do in our kitchen. Had a flood, totally had to take the kitchen down to the studs and had to rebuild the kitchen. And finding cabinetry was really not on my radar at that point, but they were fantastic to work with. All the gals there couldn't have been any better. They helped us figure out what we wanted. We got that photorealistic rendering that we've talked about that is so important because you get to see the finished product before it's actually finished, which gives you a little something to look forward to, but also gave us an opportunity to take a picture of the, quote, finished kitchen to find everything else that we needed to put into the room. But if you want to get your closets updated, if you're wanting to do just some cabinetry replacements in a bathroom like we did recently, they are the place to call. CHWCabinetry.com, where you can visit them online. 803-520-6837. Tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation. I-26 eastbound there at I-20, an accident has been reported. So if you are approaching Malfunction Junction, obviously, going to want to allow a little extra time. We do have a little patchy dense fog out there in some parts of the Midlands, so be mindful of that. Also might encounter a little bit of frost on the windshield. 55 is the high we're looking for today, the overnight low of 42. Tomorrow in the overnight hours, the rain will be coming in. It's going to be chilly, 46. 50 on Saturday with some rounds of rain and kind of keeping the shower activity throughout the weekend. And by Sunday, still a few showers and a high of 51. Right now, though, 33 on the early game.
Hour number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. And we're going to talk college football playoff here because folks are big mad around these parts. People have thoughts. People feel gypped.
I feel like the caller we have is the perfect caller, too. I think so. I think so.
Our pal Michael's on the line right now. Michael has some college football playoff thoughts. So, Michael, kick us off, brother. Welcome to the early game.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing this morning?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Caffeinated.
That's good. I felt that feeling good, too. I don't know why. But, I think the playoff has issues. And I think there's a bias that that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. Everybody claims that there's, big SEC bias, and they'll put the SEC teams in because of the conference they play in, whatever. But Notre Dame has some serious bias going on for some odd reason. I know it's a big brand, but for them to be still holding on to Notre Dame in this day and age, it's just completely wild to me because not only did they lose to Miami head-to-head, but if you look at Notre Dame and even Vanderbilt's resume, they're the exact same resume. Why is Notre Dame 4 or 5 spots ahead of Vanderbilt when they have the literally exact same resume? And I remember last year because Carolina was told that no matter how good we played, no matter how Ole Miss and Bama looked down the line, we could never jump them because we lost the head-to-head. Well, what happened to that same argument today? You can't sit here and put everything on the eye test when you also say head-to-head matters, because at that point, head-to-head doesn't matter. So I just feel I don't think they should expand the playoff because I don't think that's something they need to do, but I don't know. I just feel like something needs to change. There's some bias. Maybe we need to change the committee. I don't know. But there's some bias that we need to discuss when it comes to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I appreciate that call, Michael. Yeah,
right on point.
There is a lot with Notre Dame. I will say what is in Notre Dame's favor is because they do rank really high in a lot of the metrics that the committee really cares about. And whether or not we believe they should care about them or not is a fair point, because I do believe there are some flawed metrics. I think strength of schedule is a mostly flawed metric. Strength of record, I feel like, is a little more appropriate. Because
explain the difference.
Strength
everybody
of record,
might not
yes.
know what that is.
Strength of schedule is just how good your schedule is perceived to be. Strength of record is how good your record is compared to the average team playing your schedule, right? I don't care if a team is 8-4, but they have the number 1 strength of schedule in America. You lost 4 of those games, right? What would the average team do, right? If your strength of record is still outside the top 20, that tells me more about it, how you played that schedule, right, than how hard the schedule actually is, which is why a team like Texas A&M, being number 3 in strength of record, I think is a pretty good metric. Now, Notre Dame's strength of record has fallen out of the top 10. It was in the top 10 for a lot of the season, has fallen out of the top 10. And a lot of that's because it does also take into account the teams that you play down the road and what those teams ended up being throughout the season. Notre Dame's got a high strength of record compared to some of the teams that they're in. But here's where I really agree with Michael here. Do I firmly believe Notre Dame has been the better team since that game? Yeah, I think they have. I think Notre Dame's one of the better teams in the country. I think they lost 2 games at the beginning of the season against 2 incredibly talent-rich, really good teams.
Miami and Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Yep, those are two pretty good, losses to have. And they have taken a buzzsaw to the rest of their schedule. But when you look at a lot of these metrics, let's do a little comparison here. Notre Dame is 13th in strength of record. Miami is 14th. That's not a big enough gap for me to eliminate the idea in my mind of that first game of the year. Let's look at the FPI. Notre Dame is 3 in FPI. Miami is 7. And it would be hard to take out the number 3 team in FPI in the college football playoff. That is a metric that they definitely use. I don't even care about strength of schedule, but if you do, we'll just throw it out there anyway. Notre Dame's 42, Miami is 44. Very similar. Game control, which is a metric where it takes into account how often you're leading in games, how much are you in control of games, right? And it uses win probability. If your win probability is high in every single game throughout the game, you're probably in good control of that game. Notre Dame is 5th in the country. Miami is 6th in the country. Those are things that they take into account, right? And if you look at wins like marquee wins, Notre Dame really only has Southern Cal. And Southern Cal hasn't aged as well. And it's aged well, maybe not as well. Now, Pittsburgh was ranked last week when Miami took a buzzsaw to them. But really, outside of that, they don't have a ton of marquee wins. So they're both similar in that regard. So, to Michael's point, do I think right now if Notre Dame and Miami played, Notre Dame would win? Yes. Does that matter? Absolutely not. Should it matter? Absolutely not. Because you know what? At some point, we got to make these games matter. At some point, it has to count. Miami should be above Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's a better team. And this is where we have like the really stupid standard of we're just going to get you have your auto bids for conferences and the 7 best teams after that. That's so vague. I watch Notre Dame Miami play. I think Notre Dame is a better team right now as we sit on December 4th. But you know what I don't care about? That. I care about what actually happened on a football field.
Because they played already.
Yes.
And we decided that.
And you know what? If it's in September when it happened, or late August, tough luck. You play the game when you play the game.
Right, because both teams were playing in early August. It wasn't in late August. It wasn't as if one team had a year to you know what I'm saying? So
yes.
I get that. I think what's important is to understand the framing, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's not a playoff, it's an invitational. So if they just change this to the CFI instead of the CFP, it'd be a lot easier to accept all of this because when in doubt, in like baseball, and in baseball the tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to Notre Dame and Alabama.
Right.
Those two teams are going to get the benefit of the doubt in this invitational because they are huge brands and people want to see them or they want people to see them, however you want to phrase that. So I don't think, Michael, you're right. Head-to-head should matter. Elijah, all those numbers that you laid out in a college football playoff would matter, but it's not a playoff. It's an invitational. And when you have an invitational, you get to invite who you want to that party. And they always want Notre Dame there.
They are always going to want Notre Dame there.
And as long as Notre Dame is close enough to make it so that it doesn't sound egregious, they're going to get the nod.
Yeah, because that golden helmet. And when we look right now, too, that's what makes this really tough because the SEC has a lot of 10-2 teams or better, right? Like you look at, 10-2 and one-loss teams. Like Alabama's 10-2, they're playing for a conference title game. Georgia's 11-1, playing for a conference title. A&M's 11-1, not playing for a conference title. Ole Miss 11-1, not playing for a conference title. Then you have Oklahoma and Vanderbilt at 10-2. And Vanderbilt's probably going to be the odd team out. And a lot of that's going to be because of head-to-head. Now, let's just say Vanderbilt has a loss somewhere else, the same way Alabama had a loss somewhere else, but Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I do firmly believe that they should be, in that instance, flipped, right? Head-to-head should matter, which is why I wasn't bent out of shape that South Carolina didn't get in at 9-3 last year. Because, yeah, if you're seriously considering the first 3 teams out to be Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, well, we found out who's at least the third team out of that trio because they played. And then we can round robin it. Make your season actually matter. And that's my biggest gripe with Notre Dame and Miami right now is that that's not mattering at this moment in time. And it should, right? Like, even going back to Texas's argument of, we're just not going to schedule Ohio State or anybody anymore. Well, you schedule the game to win it. You don't schedule it just to say you played it. I'm going to channel my inner Herm Edwards here. You play to win the game, and you didn't win. So that will count in the loss, in the loss column, yes.
Because if you did win, you'd be saying, well, look at us.
If you did win, you know what wouldn't matter? A loss to 4-8 Florida.
Fired coach.
Who fired a coach. But when you lose other games, that is going to show up and it is going to matter, right? You know it's not going to look as ugly? Not just that you lost to Georgia, how you lost to Georgia. And you got smacked.
It's so interesting because the coaches all the time are talking about, like, no excuses. Nobody cares. Work harder. Control your own destiny.
It's no excuses until it comes time to complain about the college football playoff, and everybody's got them.
Until it's time to cop please, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every other time it's like, nobody work harder. Well, you shouldn't have been in that. You shouldn't have put yourself in that position. Okay. Here it is. Every team had opportunities, and all of them who are making these arguments blew it. And so you leave yourself to the discretion of this invitational committee. You know who's not having these conversations? Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State scheduled Texas.
They're
Texas was ranked number 1 to start the year.
They are very much comfortable in like, yeah, we're here. We're gonna be in this. So, yeah, I mean, this is just conversations that are gonna be continuously happening. Just in college football, it's at the top instead of being at the bubble in basketball. It's just another bubble.
It is. It's another bubble.
Kind of like it.
I channeled my inner Herm Edwards earlier. I want to channel my Jim Morris Senior. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? David's on the line. He wants to talk about playoffs. Good morning, David. Welcome to the early game.
Good morning. Yeah, we hear so often about the ACC being so bad, and whenever they go out of conference and play a marquee game, they lose, unless it was a few years ago when Clemson would beat everybody. But Miami did that, and they won.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do you want them to play so bad if it doesn't matter whether they win or lose? I mean, it's just all those metrics that you read off. Miami, Notre Dame's were very good, but Miami's were within 1 or 2 spots in every one of them.
Yep.
And they beat them. Like you cannot have a system that doesn't reward teams for actually winning the games. And Notre Dame getting the benefit of the doubt and getting this bias from people all over the country every year. If they're even close, they're in, and that's been the philosophy. And it just sucks, and it sucks for Vanderbilt because this is a team that has never achieved this level of success in the history of their program, and they've been playing for a very long time, and I think that should be taken into account. This opportunity for them, unless they keep flipping 5-star quarterbacks, may not happen again, ever. And, I mean, it hasn't happened yet. So, we got an exciting brand of football. You've got a team that is never there. Notre Dame is there every year, close or getting in when they shouldn't get in. If it comes down to them, I certainly would like to see Vanderbilt in, but Miami definitely has got to be in. Having said that, can I ask a question? Because I haven't seen the rankings. Did they have 3-loss Texas anywhere near the getting in?
I've got the bracket pulled up right here. They have Texas at 13, behind Miami, BYU, and Notre Dame, and slightly ahead of Vanderbilt.
They just can't. They just can't put a team in that with 3 losses that got beaten by a horrible Florida team. I mean, I just hope something like that doesn't end up happening, because if it does, then South Carolina, Ole Miss, or Alabama definitely should have gotten in last year.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, thanks a lot.
Certainly appreciate the call, David. And that's the thing. That's my thing with Texas too. It's the complaining, the moaning about, well, we're just not going to schedule that game anymore because it's too hard. We're just going to be punished for it. You're not punished for that loss. You're punished for losing to a 4-win Florida team like Alabama last year. Why would we schedule anybody if strength of schedule doesn't matter? Well, non-conference strength of schedule is not what kept you out of the playoff. Losing to a 6-loss Vanderbilt team and losing to a 6-loss Oklahoma team is what kept you out. It's the conference games that kept you out. You were double-digit favorites in both of those games, and you blew it. So, yeah, spare me with the crying about the schedule. When you had everything that you can control, every coach would kill to be a double-digit favorite in those type of games, right? They would the early game morning meeting next. You know why? Because I said so. That's next. Thanksgiving has come and gone, which means it is the season for joy. And for me personally, nothing brings me more joy. Well, there's a lot of things that bring me joy, but having an incredibly clean home and not having to worry about my carpets and air ducts brings me a lot of joy. As Forrest Gump would say, one less thing. So For the season of joy, ZRS Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, my friends over there, want to help you celebrate in bigger fashion. You can secure your holiday cleaning with $40 per room cleanings, and to make the gift even bigger, once you schedule 3 rooms, you can add an entire staircase for just $1. This is perfect if you are hosting for the holidays, because you know the house guests can be a little bit judgy. So go ahead and schedule your holiday cleaning with ZRS Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today. You just got to mention my name, Elijah Campbell, when you schedule online at zrscolumbia.com. And just remember, ZRS, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
I-26 eastbound at I-20. Still a slowdown there due to an earlier accident, but the good news is that is the only accident we have to report this time. 55 will be our high today, and then in the overnight hours, sometime after midnight, the rain will be coming in, and we'll be having a fair amount of rain for your Friday. 46 will be the high, 50 on Saturday with some rounds of rain and shower activity kind of continuing through Monday before that all clears out. But right now we do have some patchy dense fog in the Midlands, kind of in the West Columbia area, a little bit before you hit the Vista, and some other areas across town. So just be mindful of that before that clears. 33 currently on the early game.
Still talking playoffs. And for the morning meeting, we'll also talk about the big opportunity Don's team has tonight because they're going to have to do something that they haven't had to do in a long, long time. And we'll tell you what that is for the morning meeting.
Good morning. Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day. Let's go.
Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
And before we get to that awesome day and our meeting for today, talking about Dawn's team and her the opportunity that they have tonight and what they haven't had to do in a long time, we'll get back to the AAA Hegan Air phone lines because we're still talking playoffs. We got Will on the line. Good morning, Will. Welcome to the early game.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Pretty good. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. I'm kind of chiming in a little late here, but I think it'd be crazy to keep Vanderbilt out of the playoffs, man. I mean, you look at what they've done this year. Look at how good their quarterback's been playing, and they haven't done anything like this in their school history. And I honestly feel like they deserve to be in that playoff conversation. Another thing I had a question about was I believe Alabama and Georgia's playing for the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really sure as to how that is broken out with, Texas A&M, I think, only having one loss. And I was just curious if you could elaborate on that a little bit. And what do y'all think about Shane Beamer and the offensive coordinator search moving forward? And what do y'all think about him trying to retain Lenore Sellers and Nick Harbour with a new OC? And I'll hang up. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, Will. I want to start off with the SEC thing, with how that kind of shook out. The problem is the SEC championship can only have two teams, and you had 4 teams with 1 loss. So then you get into the SEC's tiebreaker system, which has to be incredibly elaborate. And I remember last year, right before the season, from the league, getting sent an email that was a PDF that was 36 pages long of what their tiebreaker system is. Unnecessary. How about we just do divisions again? All right, so much easier. But I believe it went down to your conference, what your conference strength of schedule essentially is what it is, but it's the winning percentage of your conference opponents. Because you don't play everybody because your league's too damn big, you have to resort to stuff like this. That's also the same metric that got Duke into the ACC title game. Fun fact. But the reason it's Alabama and Georgia, Will, is because they had higher conference opponent win-loss records, or better win-loss records for the conference opponents than Ole Miss and Texas A&M did. Which is why if Alabama were to have lost that game against Auburn, Ole Miss would have gotten in over Texas A&M for that metric, and for that reason, A&M was going to be the odd team out if they lost regardless.
That being said, this game is of no consequence to the CFP. That's not true. Let me phrase that. As far as in and out, it could affect seedings or rankings, but both Georgia and Alabama are in.
I have a hard time believing if Alabama loses that they kick them out. However, I don't want to completely rule it out.
Okay.
Because like what Will kind of alluded to and what David alluded to earlier, Vanderbilt's sitting there at 10-2, right? Like they are a team very well deserving. The only thing about Vanderbilt that is unfortunate for them, and like this is just life playing football sometimes, when there are only so many spots in this invitational, if you will, and only so many teams can take those spots, and you are closely considered with Texas and Alabama. You have sample sizes against Texas and Alabama. Those are Vanderbilt's only losses. They just so happen to be to teams that are ahead of them in the college football playoff rankings. And they didn't get a chance to play.
That was
Oklahoma.
our situation last year.
It was. Yep. It's the exact same thing, right? Which is why I would not be bent out of shape if Vanderbilt didn't get in, because if it comes down to a couple of teams and you only have a handful of spots for those teams, there are more teams than spots. If they play each other in the regular season, the games have to matter, right? And those games specifically, like, yes, it would be really unfortunate if Vanderbilt went 10-2 and missed the college football playoff. But that's also just bad luck. Sometimes you run into bad luck in life, football,
Yes.
everything. Like sometimes bad luck just happens, and it is the most Vanderbilt of luck. The year you go 10-2, Oklahoma also goes 10-2. Alabama goes 10-2. Georgia goes 11-1. Ole Miss goes 11-1. Texas A&M for the first time goes 11-1, which is why I would really feel for them. Like I would be heartbroken for them, but also like I get why they wouldn't.
I love the life lesson of the morning meeting. Hey, kids, sometimes just sucks.
Yeah, it's not
Sometimes
fair.
your best thing is just, hey.
You know what fair is? The thing over there by Williams-Brice Stadium where you can get on rides and eat really greasy fried food.
As my coach would say, fair comes once a year, and it's not that time now.
Oh, I like that.
That's brutal, man. That's just brutal.
Yeah.
I still remember first day of 6th grade, my teacher, Mr. Smith, who's also the assistant principal of the school, he writes on the whiteboard, "Life ain't fair, and neither is Mr. Smith."
Let's go.
He's like, I don't want to hear about fair in this class.
As long as we know the rules.
He'll put it out there pretty straightforward, and then turns to the offensive coordinator search. I'm hammering home my desire for Kevin Decker at Old Dominion. And if you don't get Lenore Sellers, have Kevin Decker bring his Louis baggage with Colton Joseph or luggage.
Yeah, because that's a conversation, and Shane alluded to it that, the Sellers and his family are going to have to make a decision. You can't rush them, but you kind of like, can you make a decision sooner than later, so that you can move on, and you don't want to. It's difficult to move on with that huge of a piece of the conversation not being settled. Hence the Landon Duckworth conversation. Hence a lot of the uncertainty around the program, because there are just things that are up in the air. But I would imagine that any OC that's coming in to have a conversation about taking his job, his first question is, do I get a chance to work with 16?
Because that's an enticing proposition.
That's the first question I would ask. That's the first thing I would be considering during this whole ordeal.
And before we get out of here, too, tonight, 7 o'clock, ESPN, South Carolina women's basketball team goes to Louisville. And I alluded to earlier that South Carolina's going to have to do something they haven't done in a long time, and that's crack into the top 5 in net. The last several years, I think pretty much ever since the net rankings have been established, when the net first comes out after a month of play, South Carolina's already in the top 5. This may be the first time they started outside the top 5. And if you look at things like quad 1 wins, they're 1-1 in quad 1 games. Thanks, Rory Harmon, for hitting that shot at the buzzer for Texas to be able to beat them in Las Vegas. But a win at net ranking 14 Louisville would definitely be a quad 1 win. You are definitely moving probably into that top 5 with that, because if you look at other teams in that top 5, they don't have as many quad 1 wins. LSU does not have a single quad 1 win. They play tonight in a game that would certainly be considered that. They go at Duke. It'll be the first time this year that LSU's team is playing anybody with a pulse. So congrats to them, I guess. But you will have a better chance at getting back into the top 5 with a win tonight. So it's a big opportunity for the girls.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
And playing in an arena that's got one of the funniest names in college basketball. It's not the KFC Center. It is the KFC Yum! Center. Do not get that incorrect. They will correct you at Louisville. I have learned they will correct you if you don't put the full name in. Why it's that way, I don't know. There's a lot of things in life I don't understand. But what I do understand is the early game underdog challenge and understanding that the streak is over. I finally win one. And the race at the top between Team WIS and Jen Jensen just got a little more interesting. We'll do that next. Looking for the perfect Christmas gift for the golf lover in your life? Well, listen up, because I have the perfect gift idea to help you out here, and that's a membership over at Pro Swing. Look, it is a golf lover's paradise over at Pro Swing, whether it's the Chapin location or the Forest Acres location. It is the best of the best, and I have so much fun whenever I go play at Pro Swing. The Golf Zone simulators live up to the hype. You can play anywhere, any course you can imagine. They have it all, and you're able to learn a lot about your swing, too. If you're one that's really wanting to improve your golf swing, they get free 30-minute swing evaluations. They also have lesson packages available, so for the young golfer in your life, if you want to get them started in learning, run their brain as a sponge and can absorb all this coaching, Pro Swing has the pros that can give them the lessons they need to get a little bit better and improve their golf game too. So don't wait. Call 803-592-3916 for more, or you can always book sessions online at proswingcolumbia.com.
I-26 eastbound at I-20. Still working that earlier slowdown, and in Lexington, Nazareth Road at Longs Pond Road. Still a little bit of patchy dense fog in some areas across the Midlands. That'll be clearing off. We'll have clouds today and a high of 55, overnight low of 42, but the rain will be coming in the overnight hours, and it's going to be more on than off rain tomorrow. 46, 4-hour high. There will be rounds of rain Saturday and Sunday as well. Highs in the low 50s. So again, just be mindful. A little bit of fog out there and enjoy one more dry day. It's currently 33 on the early game.
That's right. Before we get to it, actually, I have not been sent the winner yet, so we're going to send some text.
Wait, let me see if I...
Oh, Jen might have the winner. So I love the drum roll. Surprise. Our winner for the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams contest. Because, now, here's the best part. We did not get a special teams touchdown after Vakari Swain's third punt return touchdown of the year in Game 2. But we started the contest after Week 2 and didn't get a touchdown since then. Now, ironically enough, this is the second time in the last 3 years that Lawyer Lisa had to give away the pot of $1,100 after the season. Now, last year we had a special teams touchdown, so we actually got to give it away a little bit earlier. But in 23, we did not. So this is the second time in 3 years that we're just giving a large sum of money to end the season. So lucky for this winner, you're getting all this at once.
And the winner is? Love this. Dane Carter.
Dane Carter. Congratulations, Dane Carter. Exciting stuff.
I didn't realize that was so important that I had the secret name.
Jen was the only one who had the secret name. I was scared for a second because I was like, oh no, I don't have it. No one sent it to me. But Jen has it.
I know.
So congrats,
again,
Dane. Dane Carter, early winner.
That's awesome. Just in time for Christmas.
Dane didn't know when he woke up this morning he was going to be $1,100 richer.
No kidding. That's a good morning.
Yeah. And that is why you participate in the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams contest. And then you also cheer for nobody to score a special teams touchdown at the end of the year.
That's right, because pot goes up.
Because I know the incentive is to want the special teams touchdown to happen. But you know what? I would rather be in a running for $1,100, a larger lump sum at the end of the season.
True.
And as a fan, I'd rather score on offense,
Amen.
which we didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to have to rely on scoring special teams touchdowns, not just for money, but also for just like the overall health of your football program.
yeah.
Oh, so congrats to Dane, and we'll also give congratulations. Now, you don't win $1,100, but you did win the text contest. We had a tie with 7 points. So shout out to Case, who picked the Bears at +7.
Woohoo!
And then shout out to Travis, who did a little bit of a Houston two-step here. He took Houston to win. They got +2.5, and the Houston Texans to win, which is +4.5. So congrats to Case and Travis on that. Sometimes the theme picks can behoove you, and it did for Travis. So congrats to those guys as well. Last week, everybody got at least one game correct. Jen got the Chicago Bears. That was good for 7 points. Preston picked the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and that was good for 3.5 points. I took the Carolina Panthers at 10.5 against the Rams.
Big one.
Somehow got that one. That's good for 10.5 points. And then Team WIS went 2-0 last week. They're 12-16 on the season. Got Navy at 5.5, and then the Houston Texans at +4.5. So now our overall standings for the season: Team WIS still holding a small lead over Jen, 86-82.5, and then outside those two, Preston is third at 71.5, firmly in the bronze medal position. But I'm only 10 points behind at 61.5 because I finally broke my streak. It's like 4 weeks without getting one correct. That's why I'm behind so much, because you guys can't stop missing, and I'm going to need you to get a couple wrong for me, if anything. So this week, here are the college games we can't pick. Because it is conference championship week, I will allow conference title games or FCS playoff games. I have the spreads now. They don't have them on ESPN, so I'm using FanDuel for the FCS point spreads. So with that being said, Preston's going to start us off, then followed by me, Team WIS, and then Jen. And then, of course, reverse order in the NFL.
Well, I'm going to go. I want chaos. I want calamity. Give me the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh.
In the ACC championship, throwing this whole system into a tailspin.
Oh, I love it. Duke in the ACC title game, and potentially icing the ACC out of the college football playoff, 3.5-point underdogs against Virginia. So if you want chaos, Vegas says it's actually really likely that you do get chaos. So Preston takes Manny Diaz's bunch at 3.5 against Virginia. And I'm going to go to the FCS ranks. And really, it was down between two games in a battle of Dakotas but they're both 5.5 point spreads. So I'm going to fade the favorite that I think is more likely to lose. Give me North Dakota at Tarleton State. It is a plus 5.5. There are not a lot of large point spreads this week, so I got to go with one. My whole rule is it's got to be at least 5 points. I don't want to shoot for anything less than 5 points. North Dakota, very improved football team this year. Tarleton State has not seen this level of success in football.
They beat Army this year, or they beat somebody.
Tarleton State did beat Army.
That's what I thought.
And North Dakota only lost to Kansas State by 3. Kansas State got away with that one early this year in Manhattan. North Dakota's pretty good, so I'm going to take the road team there. That's got maybe a little more of a history of winning in this spot. So I'll take, and it's not North Dakota State, for those who remember. North Dakota State's the one that's the perennial powerhouse. And like, Elijah, why are they 5.5 point underdogs? This is North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks. But I'll take them at Tarleton State. And that takes us to Team WIS.
We were conflicted on this one. We actually had a good little conversation about this. I think Indiana's for real. They're 4-point underdogs against Ohio State this weekend, and I think that they could do it. I want to see Kurt Signetti pull it off. I never thought I would say that, but we're taking Indiana at +4.
But he wins. Google him. Indiana, 4-point underdogs against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Now that takes us to Jen Jensen.
Well, So I was looking at, and I want to make sure I had the right one, because Yale came back last week.
They did, down 35-7 at half at Youngstown State.
And I think I'm going to go ginormous game hunting and take them against Montana State. It's 28.5.
Oh, that could be it.
Jen's going for the jugular.
The Fighting Dante Rinos could do it.
Yale is traveling 2,232 miles, which is double they've traveled all season.
Oh my
I'm saying they're going to make it happen.
Oh, I love that. And the travel stat, too. They have not traveled this far to a game all season long.
Yeah.
Need one of those Kirk Herbstreit travel maps.
Exactly.
For Yale.
I don't know. We're going for it.
The Fighting Dante Rinos.
Jen Jensen is going for the jugular. And if Dante Reno can pull it off, that would then break Preston's record.
Oh, man, 2 things at stake here. A first place and a record breaking. This is huge.
And a record, because our record for largest upset called was Preston's 22-point underdog of UAB beating Memphis earlier this year. Jen's going for the record in the kill shot in this event here.
Will it happen?
Oh,
but,
well, I'll tell you this.
I'm nervous.
That just lit a little fire on the WIS over there.
I will tell you this. I am immensely more intrigued about that Yale-Montana State game than I ever would have been otherwise. We still have our NFL picks, so we'll do that on the other side as you're listening to the early game. All right, time to make our pro picks for the early game underdog challenge. Now that Jen's had the commercial break to think about it, after going for the jugular, picking Yale against Montana State at 28.5, she has our first NFL pick.
Is it terrible for me to want to keep going homery?
Keep doing it.
Oh, because you're going to take the one that I
It's
want.
terrible because you're going to take my pick too.
Yes.
Keep doing it.
I mean, like,
Go
Well,
for
then
it.
I want it. The Bears.
The
We're going to Green Bay.
Bears.
It is time, and I am in
Enthusiastic.
Ben we trust.
Yes. The Bears plus 6.5 in Green Bay against the Packers. Now, if the Bears do it for Jen again, are we getting a Jen Jensen Super Bowl shuffle in studio?
Ooh.
That's the real question.
I think we will start the show on Monday with the Super Bowl shuffle.
is that reminiscent of the Icky Shuffle?
Oh, this
In line, but not the same.
Okay,
Icky Woods did not have his own record.
that's fair.
And here's the thing, the Bears did the Super Bowl shuffle in the middle of the season and then went on to win the Super Bowl.
Why do they keep making the Bears underdogs? That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. I saw that.
They've
And I was
proven
like, what's up
themselves
with that?
at this point.
Especially 6.5 point underdogs.
That's
Is
what I'm saying.
maybe
Yeah.
a case of wrong team favored. Maybe. That's why that was so enticing for me.
Also to them.
Yeah.
I know Bears fans get up for this
Oh.
game, right? This is
And
a
that's
huge
the reason
one.
that it's like, I wasn't going to keep going on that, but it's like, doggone.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing?
All right. So that leads us to Team WIS.
I don't like what we're left with here. There's a couple really good games, including, I believe this one's tonight. And as Rick Henry would say, we still them boys. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys at +3 at Detroit. I like Dallas.
So this is a Rick Henry inspired pick.
He didn't even make this pick. We all agreed on Chicago yesterday.
Okay.
And nobody gave a backup option. So this is just, I want Rick to know when I get to work today and when I see him today that I did this for him.
All of the chips are in that basket right there. Let's see. Now for me, it's the Lions +3, Cowboys +3 at the Lions. Do I do it and just go all in on the demise of one Patrick Mahomes, or do I go in on the inconsistency of the Buffalo Bills? I think I'm going to go.
Bengals the surgeon.
Joe Burrow is back, and you know what? Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll take the Bengals on the road +5.5 against the Bills.
Had that one too. Just couldn't make a decision.
Feel a little bit better about that one. So, with that being said, now the Bengals are off the board. Preston Thorne, round us out.
It's emotional hedge time again.
Uh-oh.
Rise up.
Double
Last
down.
chance. Last shot.
This was the most unenthusiastic rise up that we've had all year long.
Rise
up.
Rise up.
Rise up, I guess.
Give me the Falcons.
Falcons are +7 against the Seahawks, and I do believe that game is at home at least.
Yes.
So that helps? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Is this in Kirk Cousins we trust here?
It still is.
You like that?
If we get a you like that, I mean, that's for Preston, that'd be pretty big. So, I mean, right now, if you're looking at the deficit, he is a good 14.5 points behind Team WIS. But if WIS and Jen go over, that win could put Preston within 4 of the lead.
Not unless Jen cracks a 28 points.
And just shatters records.
Shatters dreams and records.
I will say, so I've been doing this same contest with my friends for the last 5 years. The record that any of us have for most points scored in an individual season is 94.5.
Oh.
So if Jen hits this, she shatters that record with 4 weeks to go.
Huge. This is a big game.
And if that does happen, here I am.
Love that.
And then Ben Johnson proceeds to rip his shirt off.
I'll run through a brick wall
I
now.
won't do that. I'll just get
I was getting ready to say, we might get kicked off YouTube.
We can only get away with the 2 pump rule on this thing.
That's right.
We can't go any further than the 3 pumps.
I have already I've already dodged the HR bullet on the
They're
show.
watching like a hawk right now.
Yeah, right.
They're watching me and they see me stand up with my hands behind my head like that. Then immediately they start watching and counting.
Free hot dogs in Chicago for that, by the way. That was
Exactly.
crazy.
That was great.
They gave away free hot dogs because he took his shirt off last week.
Yep.
We were saying yesterday that because the Super Bowl Shuffle was done for charity, all the proceeds were going towards charity to feed homeless and hungry people in Chicago, and they did that for free hot dogs. I'm just saying, the last time they had a promotion like that, they did win a Super Bowl. Does that have anything to do with football? Absolutely not. Does that have anything to do with vibes? Absolutely.
Vibes.
And those are the type of metrics we value around here. So to recap, Preston takes Duke plus 3.5 against Virginia in the ACC title game, and the Falcons at plus 7 against the Seahawks. I've got North Dakota plus 5.5 at Tarleton State, and the Bengals at plus 5.5 at the Bills. Team WIS goes with Indiana plus 4 against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, and the Cowboys plus 3 at the Lions tonight. Jen has Yale at plus 28.5 in Bozeman against Montana State, and the Bears at plus 6.5 at the Packers. You can make your picks 803-404-6100. That is our Firehouse Subs text line. I will respond to you after the show to let you know that your picks are locked in. Best of luck. But coming up next, it's hour number 3. We're going to talk National Signing Day and who is on the almighty grill. Coming up next. right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. He's Nick Harvey from Team WIS. And he's Randy Young in the video production studio here at Studio 803, where right now you're watching. You can see our Christmas tree in the background. It's a very lovely Christmas tree. We're very festive in here. If I start hosting some friends, so pretty festive in here. So we have the tree out. We have 2 trees, actually. There's one behind Preston, too.
Several trees.
Over under 1.5 trees at Preston Thorne's household. Should I bump that number to over under like 3.5?
Vegas just lost. Vegas just lost money big time.
Oh, so that was not even a good like spread.
Bad
It's not
spread.
It's not a
And
question.
I don't even know when it happened. Take the under on that one, but
so Nick's saying under 3.
If you set the over under at 3,
I started at 5.
If you set the over under at 3, that's a good betting line. And I don't know when it happened. It just all of a sudden I was like,
there's a Christmas tree in every room. What's going on?
it might not be far off.
Oh, buddy, we have one real. There's like a porcelain like fake tree, I guess. That's like a decoration next to the TV. But we have like one like small tree, about that one size, like in the corner. And I think we're getting another one gifted from a family member, and it's a bigger one. And I'm like, I don't know where we're gonna put it. I don't know. I'll take it. Yeah, like I love the festivity, but I don't know what to do with my hands. I
don't. I mean, again, I've been around for a while. I'm a middle-aged man, and I just at some point or another we started going the multiple tree thing, and it's just the Thorne family has embraced it. Let's say that
the multiple tree.
Does the baby have her own tree?
Duh, absolutely.
Just want to be sure.
A Grinch themed tree, to be exact.
Oh,
okay.
Singing while others are zagging. I appreciate that.
Well, here's a question too: is did y'all go real tree or fake tree growing up? Were real tree or fake?
Growing up, fake tree.
Okay. All right.
It was a little bit of mix. We kind of mixed both.
Okay.
Growing up, it wasn't that they weren't hard line either way. I think when they got older, they was just like, let's just go with this fake tree here. But
yeah.
I think that's how they went. But we was kind of both growing up.
That's kind of how my parents are now. But it used to be like I would go with them, we'd pick out a tree, and then as I got older, it was on me to set the tree up, get it in the stand. And we got some big trees when I was a kid. I have to show you guys some pictures later. It was cool.
Nick Harvey went and said, I want to take the biggest one yet. Now, a lot of good use for Christmas trees, but I wouldn't recommend putting a Christmas tree on the grill. But there are coaches and programs that we can put on the grill. And I can think of no better one because we've had James Franklin on the grill at the beginning of the season, and he was maybe the first real big victim of the almighty grill sizzling. It started sizzling after that loss to UCLA, and then it became engulfed in flames and got burnt after the loss to Northwestern, which is why he lost his job. But this isn't about James Franklin. This is about Penn State. Because they fired James Franklin in early October. It is December 3rd or 4th. I've never been accused of being a calendar, folks. And they still don't have a head coach. And most of the big names off the board. Even Bob Chesney, who was coaching at James Madison.
I thought that would have been a good look for them.
Who seemed like that would have been a good fit for them. Hired by UCLA. I don't know what they're waiting on. If they're waiting for Christmas, well, thankfully for them, it's not too far away. But they got to do something because they're sitting here with no head coach right now. None.
Crumble Cookie Gate. The whole thing with BYU and
I've been trying to follow this.
That was crazy.
I've been trying to follow this.
Crumble sent a box of cookies to Penn State's their football facility. I think it was either yesterday on signing day or it was right after they got the extension with them. That's just so petty. You kept your coach and still sent them cookies and said, nice try.
So I assume there's a connection between Crumble Cookies and the BYU athletic department.
Their owner is
a graduate booster.
Huge donor.
So Crumble Cookies is one of the reasons they got AJ DeBanza to go play basketball at BYU.
Also, if we really want to get deep on the internet here, James Franklin was at a dinner. You saw it?
Yep.
Guess what kind of cookies he was eating? I mean, if we want to go back to college football here, hey, listen.
Hey, college football, we can debate the playoff and Heisman's and all that stuff. It's not just enough to win. You got to win and be petty at the same time.
Just saying.
And right now, the P in Penn State stands for piling on and pettiness.
And they deserve it.
They deserve it. Yeah, they absolutely deserve it. They are reaping what they're sowing. Everyone loves to reap, but no one loves to sow.
Yeah, I think they got a little too big for their britches, and they're finding out maybe who everybody else thinks they are.
I think so. And James Franklin elevated them in a way that they haven't been elevated in a long time. But you are who we thought you were, too. Crossover segment. Grill and they are who we thought they were.
The Minnesota Vikings deserve to be put on the grill. Not just any one person, even though I'm eyeing J.J. McCarthy because he was a full participant at practice coming out of concussion protocol.
Hold on a second.
What?
Did you see that play in the semifinals?
Listen, we're not doing this. We're not.
It was a pretty cool halfback toss back.
No.
That was a great throw.
No.
Best Rose Bowl play ever outside of Vince Young's touchdown scramble.
QB whisperer, KOC, with everybody said it was Sam Darnold last year. It's not translating to your first-round pick, and he has not done anything to impress me other than throw a lot of interceptions, which I didn't think was possible.
I mean, the thing with JJ is when he was drafted, I mean, obviously I was a fan, but with the understanding that we're bringing him in to be a game manager for the vibes, for the leadership, but we're like a Jalen Hurts type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to bring him in to win games.
The one that really did it for me was this past weekend. I can't remember. I don't even remember the quarterback who started this past weekend. Don't remember his name. Goes to try to get an option pass out to the running back and throws a pick six. He's going down for a sack, ditches the ball at the last minute, and throws an interception returned for a pick six. Your season is over. You got Adam Thielen trying to go to a contender, and he goes to the Steelers.
He left the contender. How about that?
Yeah, he sure did.
Jay, can you fire up the grill one more time for me because I have a special request here.
Oh, I can smell it.
This is for our comrade, our pal, the glue guy of the station. This is for Tyler Head.
Oh, no.
He sent a request. He humbly requested that we throw Raheem Morris on the grill. And if you don't know, Raheem Morris is the head coach of the 4-8 Atlanta Falcons. Rise up. Flames and ashes shall rise up now. I think this is over. He was a retread.
It's never been more over.
Check this out. I'm going to throw a sacred cow on the grill, too. Mike Tomlin.
Oh, yeah.
And the internet has connected some spots to me. And since we're in this territory, if Raheem Morris gets burned up in the grill, you take Mike Tomlin on the grill and you just switch them around. And maybe the Falcons have a new head coach next year.
Or, because Ben Roethlisberger brought this up on a podcast yesterday, he knows Mike Tomlin pretty well. Would Mike Tomlin have interest in Penn State?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I've heard that over the past few days.
Now, Mike Tomlin did say that there's no booster with a checkbook big enough for him. He said that for USC. That was then.
And this is now. His job was a lot more secure for that one, right?
But now here comes the college football aspect of this. Mike Tomlin has a daughter. She's a gymnast. You know where she competes?
Please tell me Penn State.
University of Georgia.
Interesting.
Defensive analyst Mike Tomlin.
Out goes Will Muschamp. In comes Mike Tomlin. Winner for the show, Georgia for the upgrade.
I'm just saying. Keep an eye on it. There's a game that the Steelers versus the Ravens might be a grill game.
The Mediocrity Bowl?
Ooh.
Yeah, it might be a grill game. Somebody might get put on the grill. The loser of the game goes to the grill.
See, I love that type of game, not because of just the high stakes of being put on the grill or being left off the grill, but the winner would be number one in the division too. It is high risk, high reward here.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
You lose, you're on the grill. You win, congrats. You can host a playoff game.
Get one more good one, I think. And I don't know if we've talked about this before or not. The Tennessee Titans fired Mike Vrabel.
Stink! To high heavens.
Fired Mike Vrabel.
That's tough.
And they weren't great when he was in his little closing stint there, but they weren't as bad as they are. And now he's got a 10-2 New England Patriots team?
11-2.
11-2.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
Tough spot.
I was going to say, good thing nobody else wanted Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel isn't doing very well anywhere else. Good thing he's just sitting at home enjoying Oh, wait.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's coaching the number 1 team in the AFC.
Contrary to Poppy Leaf, you don't want to see your ex blow up like that. That's
No.
not what you want.
No, you may say that publicly. I wish the best for this person, but deep down inside, you don't want them seeing. You don't want to see them upgrading over you on the gram, right? They may not have done anything to you post breakup, but that's worthy of blocking them because you do not want to see any of that
Can't
mess.
see them winning
No.
over and over again.
And flexing on you like that.
It's a tough spot.
Because it is, if I'm Mike Vrabel, I am morphing into Tyrannosaurus Flex on the Titans right now and saying, look what you could have had, buddy. I'm the king of the rebuild, and you wanted to rebuild. That's kind of what he does, is rebuild really well. Before we get into the National Signing Day stuff, Raheem Morris's overall record as a head coach in 6 years, 33-55. That is good for a winning percentage of 37.5%.
Get out of here.
He has won 40% of his games with the Falcons, 16-24, and only 35% of his games with the Buccaneers at 17-31. Is that bad?
It's not good.
It's not good. No. That reminds me of that This Is Sports Center commercial where Scott Van Pelt and Jimmy Rollins are watching tape of Scott Van Pelt on Sports Center, and he's doing this little chicken wing thing with his arm. He goes, "What concerns me is this motion right here." And then Scott Van Pelt is like doing the read while staring at a wall, and he goes, "Is that bad?" And Jimmy Rollins goes, "It's not good."
Not good.
All-time great. This is Sports Center commercial. But with National Signing Day being yesterday, the big headline is, what is Landon Duckworth going to do? Because he is the notable name of someone who has not sent in their NLI, right? We have not gotten a fax or a DocuSign when it comes to Landon Duckworth. Preston and I broke this down earlier in the show, Nick, but how concerned would you be if you're South Carolina that you still don't have the proper documentation to enroll him on campus?
I mean, I think the heat level's rising in that facility right now. There's got to be, I don't want to say there's tension, because I don't think it's like anyone's fault necessarily. It's not one person to blame, but it's a lot of factors. It's the fact that you had the season that you did. There's a new head coach in Baton Rouge with a lot of money to persuade somebody to come play for him and knows what he's capable of. But you also, like, the biggest thing that sticks out to me is you haven't hired an OC yet. You don't have a selling point now. You've got the negotiation of saying you loved the culture before we started talking about the money and everything like that coming into your senior year. But now he's through his senior year. He's heard of a lot of the financial packages, and you're coming off 4-8 with no offensive coordinator, no offensive line coach, no visible signs of urgency to improve as soon as possible. Now, I know Shane Beamer said, like, they don't want to rush it. They want to make sure they get the best guy. Hey, the longer you take, the worse the options are going to get. There's a lot of OC openings right now in college football, and if I'm Landon Duckworth, I'm not so patiently waiting. You got another day before you sign this letter. And I don't think the Gamecocks are going to hire an OC tomorrow. It puts you in a tough spot, but at the same time, this is a guy who flipped his commitments several times throughout his recruiting process. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I'm holding my breath, but I'm not turning blue yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to let a little bit of air out because it's like, all right. Let's step back for a second. Let's look at this. We're going to be fine. He's going to sign here. At the end of the day, he came to us solely on the culture, and we need to make sure that he remembers that.
Well said. Very well said. And, you know, we did lay out our golden parachute scenario where if you're not able to get him, look who showed up. Look who showed up. We don't know if Landon Duckworth's showing up, but Cocky's in the house. We have a celebrity. Cocky. Oh, what a pleasant surprise.
I did not have this on my bingo card.
Fancy seeing you here, my friend.
Talk about winners.
It's winners. Cocky, absolutely. You know what? He's not going to let a 4-8 season bring him down.
No, he's not.
Absolutely not.
Can't do it.
No. It will not stop the cheer around here. We have Cocky in the house. We also have a college football would you rather. And I know what Cocky would choose on some of these, but we'll get to our picks on that coming up next here on the early game.
Chapin, Dutch Fork Road at Broad River Road. Highway 6 at Edmond Highway, you'll also encounter a slowdown due to an accident. On I-20 westbound at Alpine Road, there's a tie-up. I-26 eastbound at I-20 right there, Malfunction Junction, should be getting cleared up.
College football season has been a season of conundrums. A lot of tough choices to have to make, a lot of rash firings, a record amount of buyouts for coaching contracts, and decisions that a committee of athletic directors has to make to decide who is playing for the sport's ultimate prize. But we're going to see how Nick Harvey from Team WIS and our own Preston Thorne have to say about these certain decisions, because it's a college football edition of Would You Rather. Now, here's what I want to start with some of those coaching decisions, right? Lane Kiffin was obviously the marquee hire of the cycle so far, but I don't even think that's even, like, I think that might be the best one in terms of getting the coach, but I think time will tell if that ends up being the best hire. A couple of ones that went under the radar were John Summerall at Florida, Alex Golesh at Auburn. Both coaching very successful group of 5 teams that competed for, or really contended for, an American Conference championship. So that leads me to this. Who would you rather be as a program? Florida introducing John Summerall or Auburn introducing Alex Golesh?
1, 2, 3. Florida.
Oh, conflicting ones already. All right.
I think it's just all personal preference. John Summerall's a defensive-minded guy, sort of a process-oriented guy. I don't know if he's going to be a dude that wins the press conference necessarily, and I know they definitely feel like they just rehired Billy Napier. I don't know if you saw the cringe-worthy video that he
I was
posted.
about to reference that.
It's pretty.
That's why I'm out.
It's not great, and I don't blame you, but I don't think that's his thing.
Did he give a Duval?
It wasn't that bad, but it was close.
Okay.
It's close.
He didn't completely
like he did.
It's close.
He did completely let Liam Cohen off the hook.
It's close. So I think that's going to be my thing, but Nick?
I don't know. Just like if you look at the two fan bases welcoming in these two coaches, Golesh gets off a plane or shows up to Auburn's campus with a crowd of, it had to have been a couple hundred people going nuts for him as he's walking into the football operations building.
But what did he do when he was walking up those steps?
I'm not going that far.
Okay. If you don't know, he did trip going up the steps.
Oh, no.
Just a little bit, but that's fine.
Well, good thing he is calling plays, not executing the plays, because then that would be a serious concern.
The reports come out that the first team meeting, he goes in and says, like, I don't golf, I don't do this, that, and the other. I coach ball. That's a guy I want to play for. If I'm a recruit and I hear about that, and I hear this guy who's just like, he breathes football and it wants to win for Auburn now, like, I'm sold on him. I think he's going to do well. I'm not going to rush him to do well. I think they need to be patient with him. But he's proven himself time and time again throughout his coaching career to this point. I think they got a winner. They got a winner.
I'm not far off.
Especially considering who the last guy was, because I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday. Hugh Freeze got a was in a one-on-one exclusive interview with Justin Hawkinson from On3. And here's the quote he had about Jackson Arnold. Let's be clear, this is not a beat-up Jackson, but certainly it didn't work out to the level that he nor I both expected him for him and our team, and that's why I'm sitting here. So you went from coach who was more than willing to throw you under the bus to that guy. I would say vibe shift, pretty significant at Auburn right now. So that's a good one. Second one here. You have $100. I'm giving you guys both $100, but you can only bet on one of these two Heisman candidates, Fernando Mendoza at Indiana or Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt. Who are you putting your $100? Who would you rather put your $100 on?
To win the Heisman?
To win the Heisman.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Mendoza.
Ooh.
My Mendoza is just for the fact that he has an opportunity to do something really cool this weekend, and that might put him over people's. That might give. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on him. That might have given him an opportunity to get over the hump.
I agree, and I second that with he's also given us a legacy drive this season in that Penn State comeback victory. That touchdown pass to come back and win that game at the time that they had, like, he's proven himself as a legacy quarterback for a program.
The catch alone is absurd.
Yes.
And that's what got the highlight, right? Like, that's what is going to be focused on when you look at that play and highlight reels on YouTube many years down the line. But what has been undersold is the throw that he made, because Penn State was in cover 0 and they sent the house. They sent like 8 dudes on that play. Fernando Mendoza knew that pocket was going to be hot immediately, and he got drilled as he threw that ball, and he put it on the one place where only his receiver could get it.
And he did that 2 other times on that drive.
Did it like 3 plays before that, right? Like, he engineered one of the more impressive drives you'll see on the road in a hostile environment, in a really tight game with incredibly high stakes, with all what was on the line. In terms of moment, Mendoza has that over Pavia, but Pavia's numbers, especially in the last 4 weeks, have been absurd.
I mean, he's made some throws too. He's been awesome, man. I mean, again, I don't know. I know a lot of people probably are annoyed by him. I understand.
Totally get it.
But he's been awesome.
Yeah. And both dudes taking programs to heights that they have never seen before and probably never dreamt they would be able to see. Now, in terms of betting on the college football playoff, I'm going to give you guys another hypothetical set of $100. I'm saying hypothetical because I ain't got it like that, okay? Don't get it twisted. But I'm giving you both a hypothetical $100, and you can bet on one of 2 things in the college football playoff: Ohio State or the field. Who are you putting that $100 on? 1, 2, 3.
Ohio State.
And
I think I would too. I think I would too.
I don't want to.
I don't want to either. I haven't watched. I'm be honest. I mean, this is probably a dereliction of duty on my part, but I haven't watched Ohio State since week 1.
Nope, me neither.
Have you really had to? Because they've been taking a buzzsaw to everybody. There's not been a game in the fourth quarter where you're like, oh, Ohio State's in trouble. They've avoided trouble like the plague for the 11 games after that.
But you can think and hope that getting into the playoff is where they'll finally see some adversity, and we'll see how they respond to it, because they haven't dealt with it this year. And maybe a team shocks them in the first half or does something like that. Then you have to prove it. Prove it that you're the best team in the nation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they've really had a time to do that this season.
Yeah, begrudgingly, I'll say Ohio State.
Yeah.
I've been going through a lot of NFL mock drafts just to kind of get a feel of what the first round's going to look like. And for an Ohio State defense that came back this year with only 3 returning starters, there's a lot of dudes in the top 10, 15 in the entire first round on that Ohio State defense. Like, Arvell Reese being one of those guys, potentially a number 1 overall pick, was just totally an afterthought when talking about Ohio State at the beginning of the year, right? Because you're talking about the offense. You're talking about, is Julian Sayin going to be the guy at quarterback? He'll be a Heisman finalist more than likely. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, maybe the best 1-2 combination at receiver in America. But what Matt Patricia's done, I can't believe I'm saying this, what Matt Patricia's done at the DC as Ohio State and the development they've had, the guys that have had to be next men up, has been remarkable. That defense has been borderline historically good.
That's the part that hurts, because I'm going to have to give Matt Patricia props, and I do not want to do that.
I can see it in your face. You have never been more reluctant to give somebody props. And Ohio State just feels inevitable. And when you're at a point in your program where it feels inevitable that you're winning things like, I don't know, national championships, and they finally got over that Michigan hump and did so in pretty dominant fashion, the vibes have probably never been higher at Ohio State. Here in Columbia, the vibes are pretty low. Are they the lowest in the SEC? Well, Seth Emerson from The Athletic ranked SEC vibes. We'll see if we agree with what he has to say coming up next here on the Early Game.
at Broad River Road. Still working that earlier slowdown. Highway 6 at Edmond Highway. I-20 westbound at Alpine Road. I-20 eastbound at I-20. Get things cleaned up there. And one more accident to make you aware of, and that's South Lake Drive at I-20. As we've mentioned, clouds on the increase today, 55 for the high. Then in the overnight hours, that's when the rain begins. Going to be pretty significant rain tomorrow, a high of 46. Then the rain chances taper, but they will continue throughout the weekend and into Monday morning. So tomorrow's high 46. On Saturday and Sunday, about 50, 51. Right now, though, we're holding steady with a little bit of fog in different areas. Still 33.
It's the season of giving, and we're feeling pretty generous because I hold in my hand, not the actual tickets, it's just a piece of paper that says we have the tickets, but I'm going to pretend like I have these in my hand.
I like it.
We have 2 family 4-packs of tickets to the men's basketball game against Stetson Saturday at 2 p.m. Stetson baseball powerhouse, or at least baseball producers of great talent. Corey Kluber, Jacob deGrom, Logan Gilbert, we learned that one yesterday too. Stetson Hatters don't play around on the diamond, but those fellas ain't walking through that door because this game's played on the hardwood. But we do have 2 family 4-packs of tickets to give away. First 2 callers to 803-404-6100 will win those tickets. So good luck, and for the winners, enjoy the game. Now, if you win free tickets to a basketball game that you can take 3 of your friends or your family members to, vibes are probably pretty high in the household. At South Carolina, when you go 4-8 after being preseason top 15, the vibes are pretty low. But is there a team that you can look at and say, well, the vibes are worse with you? Seth Emerson from The Athletic gave his vibe rankings in the SEC, as he's been doing all season long. And his final regular season one has South Carolina 15th out of 16th, because he does believe, kind of like I do, that you don't have the lowest vibes in the SEC, because Arkansas, who went 0 in league play, went 2-10 overall and underwhelmed in their head coaching hire. Significantly lower vibes, significantly worse than South Carolina's, I would say.
Yeah, and I would have pointed to Kentucky before they made their drastic move, and then the move on top of the move. And as I stated, with Kentucky, I think it's really cool for them, even though that's not my favorite fan base, because we've kind of been rivals just because we hope to be like middle class at the SEC. They've had to suffer through Stoops ball for so long, and now they're getting an offensive dude who's going to be calling plays and making some things happen. So that's really fun for them. That being said, I guess we could be in the same category, right? We had to suffer through Shula ball for a year.
Right, yeah.
Right? And there's a very distinct possibility that we could get a really fun play caller here. So the vibes are low right now, but they have a chance to improve.
Especially if they pull off something like, I don't know, getting Kevin Decker from ODU and getting that quarterback to come with them. Because Colton Joseph, I mean, the transfer portal hasn't even opened yet, but some certain players will announce their intention to enter it. And Colton Joseph has already reportedly expressed his interest in entering the transfer portal. And again, not many transfer portal guys at any level, whether it be Power 4, Group of 5, FCS, are coming off years where they threw for 2,600 yards and ran for 1,000, right? Colton Joseph's one of those players. If that's a type of thing you're able to pull off, where if Lenoris doesn't come back and Landon Duckworth decides to sign his NLI with LSU, that is a golden parachute to be able to have if you're able to pull something off akin to that type of package deal. And that would make the vibes go up a little bit in terms of trying to just amp up some enthusiasm for next year after what we just had in 25.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think a lot of this, truly, the vibes hinge on the OC hire. Like, no matter who you go for, there's going to be people who really, really like your choice. There's going to be people who really, really don't like your choice. I think a lot of times you just got to block out the noise to some extent. However, there were a lot of people who were right with Shula in the Citrus Bowl last year. So I give them credit for that. But again, like some people dive too deep on this stuff, and they think that they're in the ops building and they say these certain things, and I don't discredit that at all. Good for you for doing your research. But I think, like, at the end of the day, these guys are paid to evaluate talent and paid to evaluate what they're hiring. Sometimes you get forced into a decision, sometimes you get rushed into a decision. I think you're going to land a good hire no matter who you get, but it has, again, I mentioned it earlier, it just has to happen soon.
Yeah, and to your point, I think for me, my hope for reaction is either I'll be super on board, which would be Kevin Decker,
right,
or I'd be indifferent, like, okay, I don't know this guy, let me see what's up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be something where, I'm going to be like, oh no.
Like some type of retread
or something like that. I'd be really cool if it was somebody who I just hadn't heard of, and they went and found somebody, and I was like, all right, let me go do some research. I'll be on the Reddit. I'll be on the FCS Reddit and seeing what this guy's talking about. Cool. You know what I'm saying? That'd be totally okay with me.
Because the element of mystery also, when it comes to things like vibe of a fan base, sometimes an element of mystery at least suspends pessimism, even if for a little bit, right? Because any realistic fan would say if you got someone hired that you weren't particularly familiar with, it's not a complete disregarding, or I guess discarding of the hire itself. There's okay, well maybe they see something that I don't, and that mystery does tend itself to make a fan base, or maybe even a program too, feel a little bit better about itself. I appreciate an element of mystery in a hire.
Because when the previous two hires, when he hired Shula, we were like, all right, he did Coach Cam, that was cool. Let's see what that's about. And then when he hired Dowell Loggins, I remember just doing my first initial Googles. Worst play caller in the NFL. Oh. Adam Gase.
He did get that distinction.
Yeah,
dubious distinction.
Those are the first three things I saw. So I was like, oh, that's not great.
I remember that. Yeah, that was super disheartening. Super scary. But then, I mean, to be fair,
and he worked his way to being pretty good.
He did.
The only issue is this OC does not have time to work his way into being good.
Nope.
He needs to be good now.
That's the pressure of this hire and this job right now, is that you're trying to save a program, right, from going all the way backwards. And it's got to happen game one, right? Because if you look, too, just at what's happened with this team under Shane Beamer, you've gotten off to some bad Septembers, and that's limited your success at the end of the year. Let's look at the two best seasons, 2022 and 2024. The way you ended those seasons, 24, a 6-game win streak. 2022, taking Tennessee to the woodshed and killing their 4-team college football playoff hopes. Going to Clemson and winning and killing their 4-team college football playoff hopes to end the season, fantastic. Don't ask me about September, though, because that is where the struggles happened, right? I still old enough to remember 2024, needing to escape Williams-Brice with a win over Old Dominion to start the year. Having some struggles closing out a game against LSU. Now there's some bad luck there with maybe some officiating stuff and Lenore Sellers' injury, but you maybe didn't get off to the best of starts in those Septembers that maybe limited what the season could have been based on how you played in October and November. You can't have that this year because of all the pressure that is on the coaching staff in this program right now. So whoever the offensive coordinator is, there is no acclimation period that's going to be accepted. It's going to have to yield results pretty quickly.
Like, I don't want to say that it's a one-year rental. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard a lot of people say that, though, where it's like, hey, if this team doesn't perform and it doesn't improve, you're either one, out of a job, or you're taking an interim role until they find somebody else, right? But at the same time, it's one of those situations where if you're 2-2 going into October, or 2-1, whatever it is, and then you drop a couple in a row, I mean, if you're the new, I mean, we got a new athletic director. We got a guy who didn't hire Shane Beamer, and at the end of the day, he has his full support in him right now. But if you go into October with a 2-2 or 3-2, 2-3, 2-4 with a bad loss or two, I think the trigger is probably going to get pulled.
Yeah.
whether people want it to be done or not. That is the environment that we live in as college football fans now.
And that if we talk about Seth's vibe rankings on The Athletic, if that's the way it starts next year, you'll find yourself again at 15 or maybe even 16. And for those curious, number 1, he has Vanderbilt, and rightfully so. You're 10-2. You're Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make the college football playoff, should be incredibly thrilled of the season that they had. And it's just
That's the problem, though. The vibes are super high until Sunday when they don't get in.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, dang.
Then they're going to start pouting.
Kind of, I mean, we've been
They
there
still got
before.
some leg to stand on, though. They had that kid flip from Georgia on signing day yesterday. I mean, granted, the reports came out early and he got upset about it, but he still did it.
Yeah, the vibes were high after flipping a 5-star quarterback. That's a winning vibe. We'll give you our winners for today's show coming up next. And every day, we fulfill Mike Singletary's request, and we provide winners brought to you by the Golden Spur every single day. And I'll start us off. Golden winner for today, Dane Carter, because he won the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams contest. He did not know when he woke up this morning that he'd win $1,100. And you know what? That's why you play, because there's a chance that you can win. So congrats to Dane being our Golden Spur winner of the day there for getting $1,100 richer in December. Good time to get extra little spending money.
I'm going to give my winner to Kevin Decker. And I believe Kevin Decker is the first candidate to ever get the official stamp of the early game.
Yep.
My name is Preston Thorne. His name is Elijah Campbell. And we support this message. We are on board the Kevin Decker bus. Kevin Double Decker bus.
The Kevin Double Decker bus, because you know why there's 2 decks on that bus? Because another winner, package deals. Because if Lenoris decides to not come back and put his name in the NFL draft, and if Landon Duckworth decides to go play at LSU and not come here, he had a quarterback at Old Dominion, Colton Joseph, who threw for 2,600 yards and ran for 1,000. And if you watch Old Dominion from this year, they do it in a way that looks very similar to what Georgia Tech did with Haynes King. It's fun to watch. It's a total dual threat type of offense. He has improved. He has been a really good developer of quarterbacks, and at a place like Fordham, put up 49.5 points per game in 2023 with over 600 yards per game of total offense that very same season. It is one of the best offenses in the history of the FCS level. Double-decker bus, because of maybe a package deal that can come with that, that's a winner. I think I am fully behind the early game's first preferred candidate being Kevin Decker.
High school football. You have a big winner to high school football because they're still playing. It's state championship week. You can't get any more fired up about it, man. It's so exciting watching the powerhouses in the state go at it head to head. And one, Preston Thorne, who's probably got a little bit of that energy churning in the gut going into this weekend.
Yeah, man, we've met the final boss. And this is what's really cool about this, because at one time, late 80s, Somerville was the final boss of South Carolina high school football. And now, obviously, it's Tom Knotts and Dutch Fork. So we're back. We're here. It's a repeat, revenge game. I'm excited, man. Let's see.
Now, we did have a call from a listener in Orangeburg who did want to get your thoughts on that game. So I will go ahead and ask this. We'll do the lemon booty meter. Scale of 1 to 10. One Somerville graduate, Preston Thorne's lemon booty meter against the final boss of South Carolina high school football in Dutch Fork.
I will say I was not very happy to see. I was cheering very hard for, was it Northwestern?
Dorman?
Yeah, Dorman.
For Dorman.
Dorman.
Yeah, I was cheering very hard for Dorman because I don't want to see that dude. Any man that's out there coaching in shorts with a mohawk.
I was just about to say.
I don't want to see
shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, I don't want to see that guy, man.
I want no part of it. Nick, you're winner for today's show? Or you said high school football?
I'm sticking with high school football. Sticking with high school football.
I want to throw another one in there. Yale and Jen Jensen going for the jugular in the underdog challenge. Because maybe my favorite story in college football right now, other than the fact that Duke can completely ice a power conference out of the college football playoff and a 12-team college football playoff, is the fact that Yale made history as the first Ivy League program to win an FCS playoff game. Did so by erasing a 35-7 halftime deficit against traditional FCS power Youngstown State. Their reward, going to Bozeman, Montana, and playing Montana State, who may or may not be the best team in the FCS.
Yeah, that's going to be an uphill battle for sure. I imagine, I haven't looked at the weather. Cold, snow is on the menu, more than likely.
Yep, safe assumption that it's going to be cold in Bozeman, Montana, and snowy in early December. That one's going to be a whole lot of fun. But also winner of chaos, because trust me, if Duke wins, it will be chaotic. Now, I don't expect Troy to beat James Madison. James Madison's a 23.5-point favorite in the Sun Belt title game. And then whoever wins the American between North Texas and Tulane is getting a nod for that G5 spot. But James Madison, since they were 25 in the college football playoff rankings, don't think Duke's getting into the CFP rankings in the top 25 with a win against Virginia. Duke wins. I think what the committee told you this week is the ACC's iced out, and not in a good way. Not like having a chain iced out.
Not like a turnover chain.
No, not like a turnover chain. Not that kind of iced out. Like a negative one, like your chain fake type connotation. And also winter's chicken eating competition, because if you didn't hear it at 6:45, Preston and I are going to be going to town on some chicken, and hopefully we can get Xavier Leggett to broadcast that. We'll give more details on that tomorrow too. But that's been a good show. We're winners, you're winners. Tyler Henn, Jack Veltri, they're next.